Good day, everyone, and welcome to Ryan's Family Amusements here in Millis. And tonight we have a doubleheader, a Sunday night doubleheader. From left to right, we have Pete Rischitelli, Karen Rischitelli, John Ahearn, and Dave Edison. So we'll have the two folks on the end, Pete and Dave, bowling each other, and the two folks in the middle, Karen and John, bowling each other. This will be head-to-head, so we are ready to go for 5 strings. Let's see. All right, this must be working. We've got someone watching, so thank you. So our first head-to-head match here will be John Ahearn, who will be starting out on the right, Karen Rischitelli on the left. There's Karen off to the right, leaving the cleary. John's got a 1, 3, and 10 leave. And he's off to the right, leaving just the head pin. And here's Karen right in on the head pin, punches right through. Too good. We'll give you some stats on some of the bowlers. But thank you for joining us. It's been a busy day here in Millis. It was once a month day, so we had a full house here all day today. John Ahearn actually bowled earlier, so he's on for another 5 strings. Hey, Caitlin. So we're on to the second box. John got a 9, Karen a 7. And John off to the right. Leaves the 4 horsemen. Karen on the Brooklyn side of the head pin. The 10 is not going to go. But the next best thing to having a strike would be a single pin with a nice piece of wood in front of it. John just misses that one. Takes all but the head pin, and Karen isn't going to miss that one. She's on the board with her first mark. And John off to the right. How's the audio, by the way, if someone just wants to comment? Hopefully everything looks and sounds okay. I don't want to touch anything at this point. Here's John in the third box. Really good ball. Leaving the diamond on the right-hand side. Karen filling her spare just off to the left. That'll be a 6 fill. And John off to the left gets 2 of the 4. Hey, Jim. And Karen takes down 2 more herself. Sounds good. Thank you, Stephen and Howard. So 10 for John, 8 for Karen. So that will give John 28 through 3. Karen's at 31. Remember, it's head-to-head. I can see you, but you're good. Oh, Karen, a really good ball. Just a bit heavy on the head pin, but that may not be that bad a leave. That wood is angled enough to perhaps move across. John, 3 still remaining. And Karen gives that a good run. That's going to go. It does. That's a heck of a spare. He's scored correct on that one. Yep. So that'll be a 7 for John for 35. They do a little score update here. That will give Karen 41 and a ball through 4. John in head pin, he's got 8. Karen on her fill. That's going to be 8 as well. Try to move this just a bit. And John hits the object, but that's all that goes. 3. Karen looking this one over. There's 2 pieces of wood there. And she gets it. Very nicely done. 3 spears and 5 boxes. She's off to a hot start. John with the 10, so that will give him 45 through 5. Karen, though, is off to an early lead, off and running with 59 through 5, so up 14, and she's got a ball working. So stepping up for their first 5 box of the match is Dave Edison and Pete Rischitelli.
Sorry.
Yep, that's all right. And there's Dave Edison off to the left, leaving just the 1 and 3. Here's Pete Rischitelli. Head pin, he gets them all. The home run ball. So he says can only go down from here. But Dave with the spare to, yeah, very impressive. He sees Pete strike and comes right back with a spare. That's the way to do it. So here comes Dave filling his spare in the first, and unfortunately gets the dreaded half Worcester on the right-hand side. And Pete, a little bit of an unusual leave, hit the 2 pin, left the 1-3 and the triangle on the left. So he's got another ball in his strike. Losing connections. Oh, there we go. Hey, Drew Steele. It's Dave again here. That's an 8 for Dave Edison. And a very nice out by Pete Rischitelli. That'll be a 10, 26 for Pete, 20 for Dave. Third box for Dave Edison. It's an 8-pin drop. It's 2 pieces of wood, but they are, looks like it should be good wood to use. That first piece is way out there. Pete with a 7-pin drop. That'll be a tricky spare leave. Dave connects, hitting the left side of the wood, so his first spare of the night. Actually, his second. Got a spare 2 in the first, got an 8 in the second, and a spare here in the third. Pete off to the right. Yeah, Drew, no mic. I'm using John Ahearn's phone, though, this time around. I'm a little bit further back as well, so I didn't want to chance it with my phone this time after the other night. And that would be a 9 for Pete. So it gives him 35. Dave's at 30, and he's got a ball, though. I would try to zoom if we can. I'm afraid to touch anything, yeah? Yeah, it wasn't really working, so.
No.
Yeah.
You move up and I'll.
That's a 7 fill for Dave. And he's on the object, but that's all he gets. Pete with an interesting looking shot here. It's a toughie. And he connects. Well done by Pete Rischitelli. His first spare of the match. See, we get to hear commentary from the bowlers here as they're turning around.
Bowler Rischitelli's on the side.
The last time I came here, I wasn't so good, so
Okay.
That's what I was hoping for.
we gotta make up.
Here's Dave in his 5th and final box here as we start, and he's got a 9-pin drop, leaving just the king pin. He's at 47. Pete's at 45, so anything more than a 2 here will give him the lead through completed boxes. And he gets 3. So here's Dave got the single, and he connects for a spare. And Pete, gives it a ride. And that'll be a 9. So after 5 in this head-to-head match, Dave Edison is at 57 with a ball. Pete Rischitelli's at 57, but he is not working on a spare. So Dave will have the lead once he returns to start his second half of the first string. And back up now is Karen Rischitelli, now on the right side. She's at 59 and a ball, working on her spare. John's at 45, so unfortunately for Karen, goes right through the middle, the dreaded spread eagle, so it gives her 63. John's at 45, so an 18-pin lead after the first 5. And Karen gets 2 of them. Nice piece of wood out in front of those 3, though. John still has 3 remaining. Very nice out. That's a 10 for Karen. 73 through 6. Here's John trying to match that out. And he gets the 2 that he was hoping to get. That gives him 54. 73 to 54. 4 boxes to go. Karen off to the left, leaves 3 of the 4 in the back row, plus the head pin, and some wood to help. John on the 3 pin. Karen off to the left. She'll leave the high-low jack. John just punches out 1. And that'll be an 8 for Karen. Looks like. Oh, make it a 9. And John with a 9 as well. So 3 boxes to go here. As Pete makes a score correction. Box number 8. Karen right in on the head pin, leaving a triangle. John's going to need a couple marks at a bare minimum. Karen just off to the right. John has the Caleri. He's off to the left, leaving 3. Karen with the 9, that's 91. And John with an 8. So John's at 71. We have a 20-pin difference here with 2 to go. So things looking pretty good here for Karen Rischitelli in the first string of 5 here in a Class DD matchup. Karen right in the pocket, but an unusual leave here. The 6, 7, and 8. John off to the right. Karen going to the far right, trying to push it across. At least connects with a 1. John pretty much needs to make this to have any sort of chance. And he does. Perfectly done. And Karen takes the pin without the wood for a 9. That will be 100 through 9 for Karen. John is at 81 and a ball. And we're starting the 10th box right now. There's Karen right into the head pin, and they all go. Timely strike here for Karen Rischitelli. And Karen says she thought that was too full, and it did look a little full. John was working on his spare, just got the 1, so Karen Rischitelli will take string number 1. So she'll be at 110 and still have 2 balls working. John was at 82 through 9, he's knocked down 7, so up to the second he's at 89. Try to get 1 or 2 here. And that he does. A 9, 91 for John Ahearn. And Karen now going to try to build on her lead for total. She's got 2 balls working on her strike. Off to the left. Those of you familiar with ACST broadcast know what that shot's called. Karen's got another ball on her strike, and she's right into the head pin, leaving the goalpost for an 8. Phil, 118. Solid as a rock. First string, 118 to 91. So now we're on to the second half of the first string here with Pete Rischitelli on the right, Dave Edison on the left. And as you may recall, each bowler at 57 at the moment. But Dave Edison will be working on a bonus ball for a spare. There's Pete, right side of the head pin. Gets a nice 8-pin drop, although that wood looks a little tricky. I know it may be hard to see from the stream, but that looks like it could be a roadblock. And it is. Yep. Dave, looking at the Caleri himself, pops the head pin right through. Thanks for joining us, Maura. If you need me to bring anything home, let me know. You can send a comment through the stream. All right, that'll be a 9 for Pete and a 9 for Dave. So here's where we stand with 4 boxes left. Dave Edison at 71, Pete Rischitelli at 66. Pete's left to right ball just misses the head pin. Interestingly, Dave has a similar left to right ball himself. Pete comes in with an average of 109.25. He's in first place in his division, but it's Dave Edison connects. Yeah, he's in first place with his division, 65-47 record. And that'll be a 9 for Pete. So 75 through 7. Dave, though, is at 81 in a ball. Dave Edison averages 107.64 in ACST action. There's Pete. Gets them all. Oh, definitely needed that one. Dave, right-hand side of the head pin. That's a 7 fill for 88. So he's up 13 through completed boxes. We know Pete has a strike. Dave's staring this one down. He's got a piece of wood out in front. It's angled just a bit, but not enough to move anything away. That's a spare. So both bowlers on marks here in the 8th frame. So Pete at 85, Dave at 98. Wow. Pete was looking for a double. Dave heavy on the head pin, dropping 5, so that'll give him 103 through 8. Pete was working on his strike, has another ball. Big shot right here. Oh, man. You can see his reaction. He's at 94. So through completed frames through 8, Dave Edison was up 9. Both bowlers open here in the 9th frame. So it's going to come down to the final frame. Dave Edison at 112. Pete Rischitelli 104. Needless to say, I'll say it anyway, Pete needs a mark and a big fill to have a chance. All right. We'll have an opportunity anyway. Here's Dave. His bid for a mark, and he's got a 3-1 leave. And Pete, I know blocked out, but he popped through, so no spare there. And for Dave, chips out 1 as well. So both bowlers will be over their averages. That's a 9 for Pete, 113. 9 for Dave, 121. I'm going to try to move this up a little bit more for a better angle. This way. Try that.
You want to go up for that?
Go up a little.
No, I mean lift it up.
We could try it up. Let's try lifting it in between strings here. See if we can get this any higher.
Just follow the screen. No, you're going to be back on.
All right, so we're at the max. Okay. Cool. That's all right.
You okay?
Yeah. So a little closer to the action here. So 1 string done. 4 to go here for Millis on a Sunday night. If you're watching this live, you know it's Sunday. If you're watching on a stream, it is a Sunday night. My name's Dave Peterson. Thanks for tuning in to action. Plenty of action on the stream this weekend. Whether it was the Pro Series doubles, lots of ACST action. It's good to see a lot of bowling throughout the Northeast. As we start the 2nd string. John leaves the horseman left-hand side. Karen at an 8-pin drop, but an opportunity with there with some wood lurking behind the 3-pin. John with a nice ball. You could tell as that was rolling down that was going to take it. It does. Let's see what Karen does. She's right on it. She sends it across. It's a great bid. And that will be a 9 for Karen. Just joining us, we're just starting the second string of this head-to-head match. This is a Class D division matchup with John Ahearn on the right, working on a spare. And just punches out one. Disappointing one, so I'll give him 11 in the first box. Karen just off to the right. John comes in with a record of 57 and 69. He has a 98 average. That's a nice ball. Could still take it. Nope. All but one. And Karen with a great try. Gets the 3 and nothing can connect with the 10-pin. Hey, Nico. It's Dave Peterson here. Good to see you on board. And there's John. So he's perfect through 2, but unfortunately just the 1 fill in the first box. He's 21 through 2. Karen is at 19 through 2. So John's in a division with AJ Gagner, Ashley Breton, and Rich Lamone. It's in third place, but tightly contested. And of course, every set of points is critical here. When it comes to playoff time, 2 points now is just as important as 2 points in April or May. If Paul Grant's watching, we've got a lot of those so-called lemon drops here already, and we're only a string in. Here's Karen. Oh, very, very nicely done for Karen. That's a spare. Here's John on his third ball in the third frame. That's an 8. So where do we stand, you might ask, if you can't see the scoreboard? John's at 29. Karen's also at 29. But she's got a ball working here as they start the fourth frame. I agree with you, Nico. I understand. Plenty of great bowling, so that means plenty of great highlights that you need to edit. And here's John right in the pocket of 1, 2. Karen working on a spare right in the 1-3.
What's numbers over here?
We're in the second string here, and let's see. Karen Rischitelli won the first, as well as Dave Edison.
I went on to 9. Yeah, I got him by 3 for total. Go 88 the last game.
There's John. Oh, right down the middle. So that'll be an 8 box. Karen. That's wood there, and that's a 9.
Hey, you have a good one.
We'll see you online. That was Sean Pine from Class C, who just finished a match with Mike Legendra. That was not streamed, but very competitive, I hear. Anyway, back to the action in front of us. This is John Ahearn. Big 9-pin drop. He's hoping the 10 will fall, but it doesn't. Here's Karen, left-hand side, and she really hopes that falls. That's that dreaded shot that never goes, or almost never goes. I see the trucker out there, Mark Milliken. Congratulations, I think I saw your score today. This is Dave Peterson here in Millis. Oh, Karen hits the cap and moves it across. Very nicely done. So Karen will clean up for her 10. I'll give her 55. John, when he gets back up, will be at 47. So he'll have a chance to tie or surpass Karen's 55.
I knew you were going to be a tough out.
And up steps Dave Edison on the right. Pete Rischitelli on the left. They're starting their second string. Dave took the first one, if you're just tuning in, 121 to 113. Dave was bidding to make the spread eagle, but a little bit off to the right. He has an interesting shot here as that wood's really not covering the head pin. And he hits the wood and unfortunately doesn't move across. Dave gets 2 of the 3 on the left-hand side, so that will be an 8 box to start his second string. And Pete picks up the head pin for a spare. Hopes he throws that ball, the next ball, similar to that one. So 10 to 8, Pete. There's Dave with a nice hit. 9-pin drop with a piece of wood in front. Pete, left to right ball, hitting off the 2-pin, and he gets a little late action. And Dave takes advantage of every inch of that wood that was leaning against the 8-pin. Oh, that's pretty cool. Mark, nice to see. And there's Pete getting the last 2, so he's got a pair of 10 boxes to start the second string. Dave Edison is at 18. He's got a ball working here though. He's on the 3-pin, but it's a very favorable drop. It's an 8 fill, so 26 to 20 through 2. He did 9-pin drop. Let's see what happens here. Here's an interesting shot for Dave. He does hit the head pin. The pin goes to the left, the ball to the right. And for Pete, got to go right at it. And he's off to the right. Dave using the wood, and wouldn't you know, dances all around the 8-pin. Doesn't take it down. So it'll be a 9 for him and a 10 for Pete. So he's perfect through 3, but 3 10s. Obviously a bit disappointed at that last spare try. But here comes Dave Edison, 35 to 30. He is up. And will he get some action here? Some backdoor action? He does. Pete right into the head pin, a little bit full, hoping for something to fall, hoping for some wood that's angled, and nothing really more fell, and it's not really angled. I know it's tough to see, just a bit. But he does throw a left to right ball, puts a lot of spin on it, so if he catches in an end, oh God, hits the red line and blows right through the pins. So disappointing 6 on the right there for Dave Edison with 41. Pete just hoping he can pick off 1 and not to be. There'll be a 7. Tough box for these guys, but 1 more to go here for them in the first half of the second string. 41 to 37. And there you go, Dave. Dave takes care of business with 1 ball there. Shelly Smith, someone that says hello to you.
Finally got off.
I was going to say, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, some greetings here for the Rischitellis.
You got many viewers?
10 right now, but we were up to 18.
Good must have come on.
What was that?
Some good must have come on.
Rod was on and Drew still. So interesting shot here for Pete. He can move stuff across. Just trying to hit the edge of that wood. Just got the pin. And that will be a 10 for Pete. So he had 4 10s in that series of 5 boxes. And a 7 in the other one. So that'll give him 47. And Dave will be at 51 and have 2 balls working. So we're in the middle of the second string, head to head. So Karen Rischitelli, she's at 55 through 5. John Ahearn will be working on his strike though. Oh, that leave, every time I see that, you wonder how that can happen. You get the diagonal through the middle. Here's John working on a strike at 47. Excuse me, a spare, but he gets an 8-pin drop. So that's 55. So we actually have a tie through the first half of the second string. 5's a wild, 55 to 55 through 5. John off to the right. Karen's got an unusual shot here, the 1-2 and the triangle on the right. And that is a heck of an out. That's a 9-64 for Karen. And John kind of pushes that out to the left. That's an 8-63. So we have a 1-pin match here. 64 to 63. Karen leads by 1. She took the first string. And she took the first string 118 to 91, so she's got a good lead in total to start. Spares will be critical now, though, in this tight second string. John throws a nice ball, beautifully done. And Karen gets the 9. It's the object. Would have needed a lot of luck for that to get the pin behind it in the back row. So where do we stand here? Karen's at 73. John's at 73. But John has a bonus ball working as we start the 8th frame. Karen right in on the number 1, but we've got a 3 and 2 leave. And John working on his spare. Was hoping to get a strike on that. It's wiggling, but he'll take a 9-pin fill on that spare, so that will give him a 9-pin lead here. Here's Karen going to try to move that across. And John is going to get some backdoor action. He does. He was off to the left. I got to look at the replay on that to see how it actually went, but a spare is a spare, and that's a big one for John. So that puts him at 92 in a ball, opposite Karen's 79. And Karen off to the right. Going to get some good action here. The head pin's gone, and she's got 3 remaining with the piece of wood out front and at least a couple more behind. John on his spare leave gets 6 more. So through completed frames, John's at 98, Karen's at 79. Karen will need to make this to have really any kind of chance. The second string will be a challenge. And nicely done, nicely converted. John off to the left, leaving the high-low jack. No money here if he happens to make it. And off to the right, so it'll be 7. So 105 here for John. That's a good game going. Karen at 89 and any kind of huge fill and a spare, and she can still snag the second string here as she steers this one down. She's right in on the head pin. That's an 8 fill. 7 and 10 are wiggling but aren't falling. There's John. Again on the head pin, not much of a lead. So 105 to 97, John is up 8. So that means Karen needs to make this right now. Those 2 pieces of wood facing us. She's got one that is not very much well angled. She hits a tip, it spins around, just doesn't quite make it all the way to the 7. A heck of a try though. So John Ahearn will take his first 2 points, and we know, at least in this match, everyone's leaving with something. And Karen with the 10 and a 107. John off to the right. Only a 6 box, but he hangs on for a 111-107 win. Yes. Yep. Good bowling. 111-107. Whoop. That's all right. John trying to knock over the camera here.
Sorry about that.
Hope your viewers took the Dramamine. And here's Pete with an 8-pin, 9-pin drop now. As they start the 6th frame, Dave Edison, as you may recall, was on a strike. So Pete was up 47 to 41, but Dave had 2 balls working. And Pete starts off the second half with a spare, nicely done. Dave with a really tough shot, but gives it a whirl and at least gets the 2 that he was hoping to get on his strike. So through completed frames now, we can say through 5, 60 to 47 for Dave. And off to the right, so that'll give him 69 through 6. Pete will be at 57, so we can close the gap here. All right, Pete, good first ball, gets 7 to fill his spare, 69 to 64 through 6 as we start the 7th. Dave Edison took the first string, 121, 113. Pete chips out the 1 in the middle, and Dave pretty much does the same thing on his. And Pete gets 1 of the 2. Dave gets 0 out of the 3. So Pete picks up 2 right there without getting a mark. So the 5-pin lead is now down to 3. Dave Edison, 76. Pete Rischitelli, 73. Second string. Pete, right side of the head pin. Dave just getting 2 on the left. Pete on the right has a nice piece of wood in front of the kingpin. Should go if he hits it. Oh my goodness. It was angled just a bit, but oh, there it goes. Still counts the same. It didn't even look like it was wiggling. Yeah, it was barely moving. Wow. We'll need a score correct there as John Ahearn goes in to correct that out.
I was already thinking about my third ball.
Yeah, you may have heard Pete say he was already on to the third ball in his mind, you know. But we'll still give him the spare because it fell. You know? It's a 7 for Dave, so suddenly we are tied at 83, and now Pete has a bonus ball here as he starts the ninth. Right in on the, and that's a 6 fill. Dave just off the right hand side. That will be a tricky lead. So Pete up 6, 89, 83. Dave on the object, but that's all that goes. And nice conversion of a 2-in-1 split by Pete. So he'll increase his lead as Dave only gets a 7. So even though Dave led 60 to 47 through the 5th, we've had a turnabout here where now Pete leads 99 to 90. 1 box to go. Dave will need a mark. This Pete, he almost does it. He actually gets the 2 on the side. But every pin could be crucial if Dave can convert on this, and he does. So how important is that shot that Pete just made there, knocking 4 of the 5 down on a 3-2 split? Critical pin right here in a 9-pin game. Off to the left, so leaves the door slightly ajar here for Dave. We're at 108 to 100. Dave Edison, 1 ball, bonus ball to throw here in the 10th. 8 to tie. 9 or better to win the second string. He's right in on the head pin, and he gets ace. Everyone's checking to see if anything's moving there. It isn't. And after all said and done, Dave gets out to a big lead. Pete rallies to take a good-sized lead. Dave rallies back to tie it at 108. So in the ACST world, that's 1 point apiece. And time's not a waste in here as John Ahearn gets and Pete and Karen get up to start their 3rd string. Each bowler having won one of the 2 previous 2 strings. Here's Karen. There's some really good bowling going on here. Let's see which way John goes on this. You'd think he's going to go to the left to try to swing it across. Does hit a little bit high. Karen will try to send something across as well. Oh, she does send it across. The 4 doesn't go. Crazy. And John with the 10. And Karen with the 10 as well. So this match, just tuning in, Karen takes the first, 118 to 91. John Ahearn the second. So Karen still leads by 23 pins here. Each bowler getting a 10 to start off the 3rd string. And here's John off to the left. Karen bidding for her spare off to the left as well. And John with the 9. Karen with and looking like an 8. Holding off on pressing the button just in case. So it'll be 18 through 2 for Karen, John at 19. Early on in the third string. Told you a little earlier some info about John being at a 98 average here in ACST play. Karen's in first place in her division. Very impressive record of 74 and 38, and has a pretty good lead in her division. And of course, all the division winners get a home match to start the playoffs. Karen's averaging I'm going to say 103. I'm going to round up. Whoop, that one's in the channel, in the new vernacular. So that'll be a 7 for her. John with the 6. So both bowlers having a bad box, but you bowl 50 of them, so they're not all going to be golden. John will have to work his way out of that half Worcester. Both bowlers at 25 through 3. Karen, their right to left ball. Which is interesting because her son has a left to right ball. Here's John trying to work his way out of this. Still got 4 on the deck. Got diamond plus 1. Karen slightly nudges the object pin. Gets 3 out of the 5. And John will take his second straight 6 box. Karen will aim for the wood here, and that should take 2, and it does. So 1 box remaining here in the third string of the first half of the third string. Karen Rischitelli at 35, John Ahearn at 31. And John with a big 9-pin drop, leaving just the king pin. Here's Karen. A little light on the head pin. There's an angled piece of wood there. Should mow down, good to mow down at least 4. The question probably is, for her, will be the 10 pin. John connects, though, on his single pin. There was a piece of wood out in front that worked. This will be interesting for Karen. And actually the 10 goes, the 9 doesn't. Somehow, Karen manages to get the 10 and not hit either of those 2 pieces of wood. I know that would. You try. How many times would you hit nothing? So that was a 10. So Karen's at 45. John, when he comes back, will be at 41, but working on a bonus ball. So tight third string from each of those bowlers as we start the third string. Dave Edison on the right. Each bowler having taken a string apiece, and poor Dave is going to have to stare at the 5, 7, 10. Pete, I'm going to say poor Pete because he throws a good ball down the middle and does a 3 and 2. There is some wood behind. Yep, one of them slipped into the pit. It's interesting to see how Pete plays this one. If he can clip the end of the wood or just go for a 3 and 2. Gets the 3. And Dave starts with a 7 box. That's a tough leave. Pete gets a 10. 10-7 here, starting the third string in this head-to-head match in the B South division, B South Conference, I guess. Anyway, Dave right on the head pin again. Gets another split. Not the 5-7-10, but the 6 and 8 remain. There's some wood there that I think he'll be using. And Pete punches out the half Worcester. Let's see what Dave can do with his left to right ball. Connects for a spare. Nicely done.
Nice shot, Dave.
And Pete on the head pin. Leaves 2. Actually, it looks like it leaves 3 there. There's one hiding behind. Yep. That's an 8 box for Pete. So I'll give him 18 through 2. Dave Edison at 17 and has a bonus ball here. That'll be 6. So 23 through 2 for Dave. Early 5-pin lead through 2. Pete right in on the number 1, leaving a 2-pinner. Gave it the check mark off to the right. And Pete left to right and fades just away a little bit. Try to get a 10. He can still pick up 2 pins here. And nope, same spot. So each bowler with an 8. 31 for Dave, 26 for Pete. And there's Dave again on the head pin. And again with the split. What's that?
It's a pretty one.
Yeah. Is Pete on the 2-pin with the washout leave. And Dave, oh my goodness.
Nice bid, Dave.
Wow. Says not full enough, but it headed right over there and just missed. Pete a little too full on his. And Dave Edison knocks it down for a 10. And Pete with an 8. So one box to go. Dave Edison at 41, Pete Rischitelli 34. Oh, goodness. We've had a fair share of tough leaves here already off of head pin hits. Pete left to right. Nope. So each bowler will be open. Dave with that 9 will give him 50, so he will have the lead here at the halfway point of the string and the halfway point of the match. And Pete with an 8 on the always tough diamond. That's 42. So 50-42, Dave over Pete, as John Ahearn and Karen Rischitelli come back up to start the second half of the match. We're halfway through here from Ryan's and Millis. Karen was at 45, John's at 41, but this is a bonus ball. And with that 4, that means that actually, through completed frames, we're tied at 45. Karen throws that one in the same spot, so she'll be looking for a big out. John hits the head pin, but not a whole lot of action there. Karen will get a 6 out of that. And that'll be a 9 for John. So 54, 51. As we start the 7th frame. John Ahearn by 3. Karen with the triangle on the right. Triangle 3, I think we call it. John right in the head pin with the strike. And Karen just off to the left gets 2 of the 3. Off to the left, so that will give Karen a 9, and that will be 60 through 7. John's at 64. He's got 2 balls working on that strike. And a half Worcester right hand side for Karen. John looking to double up.
Good ball, John. Nice ball, buddy.
Leaves the check mark left hand side. Some wood coming out of nowhere, still moving around. Here's Karen. That is probably, I'm going to say, the shot you don't want to see in bowling. The full Worcester, 2 halves. John just pops through 1. So 7 fill on his strike gives him 71, opposite Karen's 60. But Karen staring down the full Worcester shot and can't even get the 10 pin to fall on that one. So tough 5 box, but could have been a lot better. John gets 2 of the 3 for a 9, so we'll add 4 extra pins to his lead in the string. 80 to 65. 15 pin lead for John Ahearn. Karen led the match by 23. So the match leads down to 8. But Karen with some action here. The 3 looks like it wants to go, but it's not. The 10 pin wants to go for John. It does, and it collapses into everything going but the 7. Karen on the head pin, everything but the 3. John, no. Well, he got some good luck on the first ball, and the pin's collapsing on the right, but that wood was really way out there. And banged against the wall and did not connect with the 7 pin. So disappointing there for John, but still a 9, and that gives him 89 against Karen's 75. So in all likelihood, Karen would need a double strike here. She was trying to get one there. She gets an 8-pin drop, a couple pieces of wood. Definitely going to aim for that one that's further out. John pulls that to the right, just getting 3. And nicely done by Karen. And John, nicely done as well. There's a little pressure on that ball there after throwing the first one to the right. Knew he didn't want to lose that one. Couldn't have thrown it any better for a spare. So Karen is at 85 in her bonus ball here. John's already won this string. And Karen with 4. So I'll give her an 89 for the third string. John at 99. Plus this ball, which is going to be huge for total. Give him another 7 for 106. So he takes the third string by 17 pins. And cuts 17 into the 23 pin lead. So we're down to 6 total.
That knocks it up.
Yeah, well, close. You won by 7. You won by 17. Up steps Pete Rischitelli. He's at 42 through 5. And, wow, another kind of unusual lead, I have to say. Here's Dave Edison off to the right. Give you a quick score update if you're just tuning in. Dave takes the first. Bowlers tie at 108 for the second. Here's Pete with an interesting shot. Is that going to roll across or roll into the pit? It just misses. Dave off to the right. Get the pesky 2 off on the right-hand side. We're at Ryan's and Millis. My name is Dave Peterson. Happy to be able to bring some commentary to this match. Try as best as I can, but I know from watching these matches, it's always more fun to have someone try to keep you updated with the score. So, speaking of that, Dave Edison on the left with 57, Pete Rischitelli at 52. Pete off to the right. Dave off to the left. 2 tough spare opportunities for these guys. And Pete will take 2 off the end. And how about Dave? Oh, he actually splits the 1-3, sends him over to the left, but couldn't pick anything up extra. So 3 pins on the deck for each of these fellas. And Pete does a good job getting 2. Dave, same deal. So a pair of 9 boxes. So we still have a 5-pin difference here. Was 57 to 52 with 9s for each of the guys. We're at 66 to 61. Dave leading by 5. Pete right on the head pin, 9-pin drop, and Dave with a half Worcester left side. So that's definitely an angled piece of wood. Have to see if it comes into play. He gets it. And Dave off to the right, leaving 4. So have to work out of that.
Oh yeah, DW. Sorry, I should have got a 5.
So that'll be an 8 for Dave. So Pete will be cutting into that. Whoop, that gave a strike. Hang on here as we make a score correction. Pete working on a strike. He's at working on a spare. He's at 71. Dave's at 74. And that's a nice fill of 7, giving him a 78-74 lead through 8. Dave with a head pin hit, and It's got a piece of wood, but it's better than nothing, as they say. He's got some wood there. Let's see if he can connect with that in the pin, or just sends it across just behind the 7. Dave can just pick off 1, so this is going to come down to the last box again. If you just tuned in, Dave Edison got a spare 8 in the 10th box to tie Pete. This game, lower scoring, pitcher's duel here, 88 to 84. Pete leads by 4. With a win here, he can even up the points at 3 apiece. Oh, goodness. Now commonly referred to as the banana split. And that, if there's anything worse than a banana split, it's a spread eagle in the 10th box when you need a spare. And Pete gives that a ride, tries to get some action off the side, which you can get here in Millis. Dave somehow needs to make this one, and he gives it a heck of a bid. Sends 1 across, but nothing coming forward. So we're going to have a tie match at 3-3. And this is going to be a close one. Dave had led by 8. That's a 10 for Dave and a 94. Pete with a 97.
Hey, I know.
So 3-pin difference, 3 pins apiece. Pete takes the string by 3. Cuts the overall match lead to 5. All right. Let's see if we can read this here. As we start the 4th string with Karen and John. John has cut into that 23-pin deficit he had after the 2nd string. Cuts it to 6 as he starts game number 4. And here's Karen. Oh my. Trying to figure out where Karen would play that one. That piece of wood is really next to the 5 pin. Here's John off to the right. Let's see what Karen does. 5, 6, 7, 10. Oh, she gives it a heck of a good try. John looking for an out. And throws a good ball. That'll be an 8. Karen gets them all for a 10. And half Worcester left-hand side for John. Karen, right to left ball. A 3-1. That wood is not angled. Be tough to try to get something over to the 10, but it's possible. John connects, making the spare off the half Worcester leave. Going on the inside, connects. Karen with the spinning ball there. Wood just not angled properly. All right, so an 8 for Karen for 18. John with his spare, in addition to the 8 in the first frame, gives him 18. But he's got a bonus ball here, so he wants this to go to work for him. A little bit light, and definite break there.
A high game of 138, a 3-game total of 384. Please give it up for the week, Chris Parkinson. funny.
And John bidding for a spare, and oh, the 7 is wiggling and it's not going to go. It looked like that wood was going to take it. Karen has the same leave that John just had, and she hits the object and punches right through. So some tough luck here for each of the bowlers. John on his with the triangle leave, and Karen off the half Worcester. That'll be a 9 for John, 34. Karen gonna try to get 2 or 3 here anyway. And 2 it is, so that's a 7 for 25. So John leads by 9. You may have heard over the intercom an announcement for the league bowlers here. That was from Hall of Famer Steve Reno. And John is off to the right. Got possibilities there. Karen hoping to avoid a dreaded split, and between half Worcesters, spread eagles. Now we got the 7-10. A couple of pieces of wood, maybe. John gives that a great try as well. We'll see how Karen plays this. She goes to the right, she nudges the wood, but not enough action to move across and get the 7 pin. And that'll be a 9 for John. And Karen connects for a 10. So 43 for John, 35 for Karen. 5th box, 4th string. John looks like a really good ball. 9-pin drop, leaving the 8. Karen right in. That looks a darn good ball too. That was very close to being the 7-10 again. Maybe it helps to have the 5 there. John looks like that would help him if he connects with that. And he takes advantage of that. Karen's going to go off to the right and just gets the 10. So Karen had 4 splits in this 5-box series. The only one that wasn't a split was a half Worcester, which certainly could have been better than that. So good pinning there for a 9. 44 start. John will be at 453 and a ball. So he'll take the overall lead as Dave Edison and Pete Rischitelli step up. Give you a quick recap here if you're just tuning in. We are tied at 3 points apiece. Dave Edison by 5 in total.
Thanks giving up, Dave. Yeah, I do it all night long.
Just stand in one spot.
Yeah, it's tough.
Dave off to the right. Pete with a little bit of leave than Karen had. Just the 10 pin as he stares this one down. And nope. So that'll be an 8 for Dave. There it is, second time around for Pete. That is the Paul Grant Special, as we say these days. And Pete in on the head pin. That looks like a juicy leaf. That nice piece of wood there. Pete was, you can see with his hand movements, just wanting everything to stay right there. It looks like a red line hit should take them all, but you never know. This is Candlepin's, and he gets them a little south of the red line, but that was good enough for his first mark here in the fourth string. Dave cleans up for his 10 bucks, so he's at 18. Pete's at 20, and he's working with an extra ball. So we got a tight one here. Both these matches tight. Dave off to the left, gets some really good action. Just leaving the 1 and 8. Some wood behind, but will need to most likely hit the object pin. And Pete will be a little disappointed with that one, just off the head pin, but only a 3 fill. Here's Dave. Yes, the wood certainly helps behind, but he had to hit the object pin, and he did. His first spare of the fourth string. Pete going bidding for his spare. All but the kingpin. And that's a 10 for Pete. Remains perfect through 3. Dave working on a mark. It's a little heavy on the head pin, but he'll get 7 out of it, and that wood he's hoping creeps up a little bit more. So he'll lead 35-33. Pete heavy on the head pin. That wood is not angled. Dave is angled a bit, but I don't know if there'll be a whole lot of help. Maybe with his left to right ball. Oh, he gets it!
That's the way you drew it up, Dave.
The ball comes off the side and connects with the 7 for a spare for Dave Edison. Pete looking to make a pretty one himself. No luck there. Everything went right to the back, into the pit. And just the object for Pete. It'll be a disappointing 7. I'll give him 40 through 4. Dave Edison at 2 consecutive marks at 45 plus this ball. So he fills it with 7. It'll be a tough spare lead, but that'll give him 52 to 40. And here's Pete just off to the right. Sound of the half Worcester, you can hear it a mile away, and it does not sound good. Nothing for Dave there. Pete gave it a whirl, got all but 2. Dave got 1, so that's an 8. So he's going to sit at 60 through 5. He will have the lead. Pete is at 40 plus this box here. We know he has 8. It's a tricky piece of wood, but he gets it, hits it high, moves everything back. So 60 to 50, 10 pin lead for Dave Edison. So here we go, second half of the fourth string. And this is a mighty close one. Karen at 44. And not a split this time. Well, that won't go down in the books as a split. John working on a spare, as you may recall. He throws a really good first ball, gets 7. That'll be a toughie. That'll give him 60 through, so officially now through 5, he leads 60 to 44. For Karen, that's her, I'm going to call that a split, but her 5th split in 6 boxes. John, you knew that was a toughie. You have to hit it just really in the right spot, which he connected right in the pocket of the 2 pins, but couldn't get the 9 that was lurking behind. Karen off to the right, so it'll be a 7 for her. 51 through 6. And John with the 10. So through 6 frames, John Ahearn 70, Karen Rischitelli 51. John in on the head pin again. Karen looking to make a pretty one, and it's wiggling back and forth. I have to say, Ryan's Family Amusements here in Millis has not been very friendly to Karen Rischitelli. And that will be a 9 box.
Thanks, Dave.
Yeah, that was me correcting the score. John with the 10. So that's an 80 for John, 60 for Karen through 7. And hello to everyone out there, all 9 of you watching. I know that you've seen up to like 18 and 19 and 20. Live. We're in the 4th string here in Millis. We have a doubleheader going. This is a Class D matchup. John Ahearn and Karen Rischitelli. In this particular string, John leads 80 to 60, leads by 20. 3 boxes left. Karen again on the object, but punches right through. John's got a 2-pinner here. And he does hit the object, but he didn't hurt it. Gently lies that one down, but not a spare. Karen runs those down for a 10 box. So 60 turns into 70. John is at 80, looking to turn that into 90. But no such luck. Wood is a roadblock. So that's a 9 for 89 for John. 70 for Karen, 19-pin lead. John's taking 2 strings, Karen's taking 1.
I have a pizza delivery for somebody here at the counter.
Karen leads total by 6, coming into this string. Wow.
Keep grinding.
I think Karen's pretty much seen every ugly leave in the book tonight other than a quarter Worcester. Holy smokes. Oh, tries to hit the edge of that wood. Just missed. Here's John. Aiming for the head pin. Might get some break if he doesn't hit it. And he's not going to get any break there either. The ball zipped right by the 9-pin. And of course, every pin critical here for total. As it looks like John is in good shape here for this particular string, leading by a count after 9 boxes of 98 to 76. John leads the string by 22, the match by 16. John again on the head pin. And triangle with a piece of wood there that, if he can connect with the 6, might just roll across. Karen has a chance if she can connect with the head pin. No. And John, wow, everything but the 10. The piece of wood slides into the channel, just missing the 10. Karen with a good 10, 86, and John is officially taken across this 4th string. And with that 9 box, it's a 107 to 86. So a 21 pin victory for John Ahearn in this one. Leads total by 15. So that's a nip and tuck one. This one couldn't get much closer than this. A 3-pin difference. Each bowler with 3 points and a 5-pin difference. Dave Edison leads total by 5. Now, concentrating on this string and a big strike by Dave. He was at 60, Pete was at 50, but Dave just gets a strike. So Pete looking to get a mark of his own, and that wood flies all over the 10. That wood's crawling across, but cuts right in front of the 10 pin. It didn't have a heck of a lot of steam anyway.
I miss a lot.
And that'll be a 10 for Pete. So 2 straight 10s. He's at 60 through 6. He's on par. And Pete's going to have the diamond +1, a bucket of 5. There's a whole lot of names. Dave Edison, 9-pin drop. The wood lightly taps the 10. It's still going, and it goes now. Crazy late action here in Millis.
That's because I said double, Dave.
And Pete, I mean, hit it where he wanted to, but could not get the back pin there. And that's a double strike earlier from Dave Edison. But Pete with a 10, so that will give him 70. But that pin falling late for Dave was better than your average strike, because that was on a strike. That was huge. So Pete off to the right. Dave looking for 3 in a row. But that will be a big 17 fill on in his 6th box, so a 27th in his 6th. Still working on his 7th box. Pete hoping something falls forward. It doesn't. Dave off to the right. And a 9 for Pete. So 79 through 8. Dave gets 2 of the 3. So with his 27 and his 17 box, was at 104. That 9 gave him 113. So 113 to 79 here. The 4th string. Pete looking for a strike of his own. Dave at the triangle with a piece of wood there. And gets it. Nicely done. Dave trying to get a mark of his own, and he gets it. So matching spares here in the ninth. And Pete, a little light, but 9-pin drop and a spare opportunity. Dave, a little heavy on the number one. That's a 3-1 split, but he's at 129 through 9. With that filled, Pete's at 98. And Pete gets it. So strong finish for Pete. Dave gets nothing there. And that will be a 9 for Dave and a very impressive 138. The power of the double strike. And remember, that 10-pin barely fell over late. In the meantime, Pete trying to cut into that. Hey, Dave. Look forward to seeing you Tuesday. Here's Pete filling his spare. So a big finish, a pair of 19 boxes. 38 is huge when total comes into play. So he turned what was 79 through 8 into a 117. So good lesson for all of us. Never give up, because you can turn nothing into something, and that's what Pete did there. So even though he didn't take the string, he at least keeps himself in play for total. So Dave, 138 to 117. We've completed 4 strings for all the bowlers. 1 string to go. And I'll keep those who just tuned in updated here. We got John Ahearn against Karen Rischitelli. John has turned the tables around here. To show that to you again in a second. But he's taken 3 of the 4 strings and leads total by 15, at least for now. John, very nice third ball. That would have been good if the 5 had even stood tall, but he got them all. Karen off to the right. So let's take a look here. Karen with a very strong 118 to start against John's 91. John takes the second string by 4. As Karen finishes out her first box, that'll be an 8. So Karen led by 23 through 2. John 106 to 89, cuts the deficit to 6. Then 107 to 86. So now he leads by 15. John Ahearn leads by 15 through 4. And that's an 8 on his spare here in the second frame. And Karen with just another punch out. We'll have to take a look at these punch outs and splits for Karen on the replay, but she's had her fair share of unfortunate luck. John bidding for a second straight spare. He's going to be off to the left. And here's Karen on the right, and that is going to be a toughie. Got the head pin with the 5 directly behind it. 2 to the left, 1 to the right. And John Ahearn gets one of the 2, so that'll give him a 9. Let's see if Karen can pull something out of her hat here.
Good out.
That is a good out.
All right, start it now.
That's a 7. So through 2, John at 27. Karen at 15. All right, each bowler with a spare opportunity here. John off to the left. And Karen off to the right. And John connects with a 10. We mentioned earlier John was in the division with AJ Gagner, Ashley Breton, and Rich Lamone. Karen is in first place. Her division with Larry Wentworth, Madison Lorian, and Joe Vieira. The good news for Karen, she's got already built up a really good lead in her division. So stands a really good chance of winning the division and being in the playoffs, of course, and hosting at least one match. John in a dogfight. But early on, still about halfway through the season, John was off the head pin, still has a spare lead. Karen with another red mark on the board here at Millis. And Karen does all she can do with that one, getting the 2 out of 3, but the 2 on the left side. My name's Dave Peterson, if you're just joining us. And that'll be an 8 for John and a 10 for Karen. All right, so one more to go. For the bowlers, we'll sit down and give way to Pete Rischitelli and Dave Edison. Right now, John's at 45-34. Leads the string by 11, the match by 26. And he'll be left with a bucket of 5. Here's Karen. Tough opportunities for each bowler here. And John makes it. Nicely done. And Karen, what do you know? She makes hers as well. 2 tough spare opportunities, and both bowlers equal to the task.
You get robbed of that.
So, for those just tuning in, Dave Edison takes the first, 121-113. The second is a tie at 108. Pete takes the third by 3 to tie up the match at 3 points apiece. Dave Edison, with the power of the double strike, takes the fourth, 138-117. So a 26-pin difference. Dave back to work on lane 6. Looking this one over here. See if he goes straight for the pins or for the wood. Oh, he goes straight for the pin. Turns around and I'm going to say disbelief, but maybe just disgust instead of disbelief. Throws a great ball. And gets the 10 after all that. Second box, 5th and final string.
Nice game. Impressive.
Wow. Let's see how that wood is for Pete. Oh, off the wall, everything goes but the 10. Dave with the 9. So 19 through 2, fifth string. He led total by 26, so 2 points at stake here for this string. 4 more for total. That'll be a 9 for Pete. So we're tied at 19 through 2 here in the fifth. Dave off to the right. And 3 on the deck for Dave. This will be a tough one for Pete to try to convert. There's a lot of spin on his ball, though. That means pins can move across. He moves that across. And Dave Edison with the 10. So that gives Dave 29 through 3. And Pete with an 9, 28 through 3. So Dave leads by 1 in the string. 27 in the match here in the fifth from Ryan's and Millis. Pete just off to the right. And there's Dave just off to the right as well. Thanks for watching. Saw Scott Douglas out there, JJ Charigny, Michael Izzo. This is Dave Peterson over here in Ryan's and Millis. Oh, Pete gives that a good try. Usually I'm on the watching end of these things, but occasionally dabble when there's no one left to commentate, you know? Anyway, that's a 9 for Pete. 9 for Dave, so 1 pin difference remains here. Dave at 38, Pete at 37. In the fifth string, we'll keep everyone updated here as we get to the final 5 of each of these 2 matches. That will be an opportunity for Dave. Wood may not be perfectly angled. Here's Pete right in on the head pin. Gets a break to the left, but he leaves the 2 and 10. I don't think that wood behind is going to be of any help. The wood helps out Dave here, right on the head pin. Excuse me, the 3 pin. Moves across to get the 7, but can't get the 10. Let's see, Pete spins around the wood, but that was just to the left of the object. That's a 9 for Dave Edison, so he'll sit down after the first half of the fifth at 47. And that'll be an 8 for Pete, 45. So he'll have a 2-pin lead in the string, 28 in the match. All right, so I see a lot of people tuning in and tuning out, so sorry to repeat this for some folks, but you saw Karen Rischitelli at the big 118 to start. John Ahearn comes back to take the second by 4, to take the third by 17, takes the fourth by 21, so he leads the match by 15 as we start the final 5. And Karen gets some action finally that leaves what looks like a good opportunity. See if that wood will cover all the pins. So in this string here, that was John Ahearn working on a fill, as well as Karen, by the way. So each of them with 7 fills. So nothing gained, nothing lost. Karen just off to the left. Karen was through completed boxes through 5. John at 62, Karen at 51. So an 11-point difference. And John tries to move that across. So 11 pin lead. Both bowlers open here in the 6th. And that was a roadblock, so 9 for each bowler. Again, nothing gained, nothing lost. John by 11 in the string, 4 boxes left. Both bowlers throw about 24 miles an hour. It's 24 at the pins, so it's a little bit faster out of the hands. There's Karen punching through the 3 pin there. John on his 11th string of the day after bowling 6 in the Millis once a month. And he's no worse for the wear. Here's Karen trying to split that and send those across. Just missed. John with a 2-pinner, a piece of wood, but it's not perfectly placed. Oh, it just misses on the backside. It's probably a little bit too far to the right on the original hit. Almost got it. Karen does connect for a very pretty 10 bucks. And John lightly connects, but nonetheless still gets a 10 himself. So these bowlers have filled their spares in the 5th with 7s. Each got 9 in the 6th. Each got a 10 in the 7th. So John hanging still with an 11 pin lead in the 5th and final string, 81 to 70. Leads the match by 26. And John pulled that one. Here's Karen. That's a spare opportunity. Oh, the wood splits the 6 and 10. Neither of them fall. If one of them had just fallen, there's a chance, decent chance that would have gone. And John a little heavy on the head pin there. Karen, good pinning again, another 10. John going to try to get as many as he can out of this mess. I think he's trying to decide which way to play this one.
There we go. Two down, going back and forth.
Yep, so that'll be a 9 for John. He's trying to decide what to do, so 90 to 80. Karen picks up a pin there, 2 to go. 25 pin difference in the match, so that's looking good for John for the 4 points, but there's still 2 points at stake right here. 10 pin difference. John with a big 9 pin drop. And Karen connects. Clutch spare for Karen. John just to the left. So the 5th and final string is going to come right down to the last box here. John will be taking total. Looks like, barring a miracle. Anyway, Karen is at 90. She's got a ball. John at 99. Karen just off to the left. John also off to the left, but a much friendlier leave 7-pin difference here. So Karen may need to make this. All right. She's got 7. String not over quite yet. John connects with the head pin, takes down 2 more. That's an 8. And that will give him the string. Actually, yep. So it'll be a 7 for Karen and a 99. John with the 9 and a 108. So 108 to 99. Victory in the 5th string for John Ahearn. He will take 12 much needed points in his division race.
He told me I was going to take 12 today. I would have taken crazy. I was happy when I had 4. So he said 4. You know what you'll come to. He kept coming back though.
John will take total by 28. And now we get to Pete and Dave. Dave leads 47 to 45 after 5. And he gets an 8-pin drop with some friendly wood. Dave leads total by 26th. So he'll have to go to work, and this is a good place to start right here. And hits it high and hits it well, and that's a spare. That'll be a 7 for Dave, so that'll give him 54. Pete already has the lead in the string now. He's at 55, working on his spare. A little bit to the left, but he does get some action, and he'll take 6 on that one in a heartbeat. Dave right down Broadway, leaving the 2 and 2 with some wood. Here's Pete. This, if he can connect with the head pin, in that is going to fall.
Nice shot, Pete.
His prettiest spare of the night. He wanted that one. Dave is going to try to cap it. He sends it across.
I wasn't even sure if I was going to hit the head pin.
Gets the 2 head, the two pins up closest to the bowler. Leaves the 2 further away up. So that'll be a 9. So Pete doing what he needs to do to win this 5th, but also overtake that 26-pin deficit. He's at 71 right now, and a ball against Dave's 63. 8, and he gets 5. That's $15, so that gives him 76 to 63. He's chopped 13 off the 26-pin lead. So 3 boxes each to go. Dave has 5 points. Pete has 3. That would be huge. And for Dave, this would be huge. And he gets it. All right, so it'll be a 9 for Pete. 85. As we're getting close to wrapping up this match, 2 boxes left. Seven pin, maybe 1 or 2 more. He gets 2. He's hoping for 3. That'll be a 6 fill for Dave. Dave's in with the same division, by the way, as Phil Clough, Dan Finn, Bob Lee. So some obviously really good bowlers there. Pete looking this one down. Is that wood? Should we go to the left? Is that wood on the right? He's thinking about it. Pete, like Karen, in really good shape in his division. He's 18 over 500. So He's had a great year. He's looking to try to. Oh, he wanted that one. And Dave off to the right. Well, looks like it wasn't meant to be. And Dave, perfectly thrown ball for 10, so that gives him 89 through 9. Pete at 94. Two points at stake here, as Dave Edison will take total. Pete up 5 here in the 5th. It's a good try by Pete. Dave needs to make this to have a chance of winning the string, and he knows he throws it off to the right, looking for something to come back. It's propelling around and around, but it's not going to happen. So Pete Rischitelli will take the 5th and final string. So 9-box 103 for Pete, 9-box 98 for Dave. So we have Dave Edison taking total, and that will be a 9-5 victory. Is that correct? 9-5 victory. Want to make sure. John takes his 12-2. So that will do it here from Ryan's Family Amusements on a Sunday night. Thanks for watching, everyone. We will see you in the lanes.